Hello guys, welcome again to another wonderful session with me. I still remain Destiny Emmanuel, the CEO of Destiny Digital Concept, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to develop a transaction history or a transaction log system for your website. And this transaction log system I'm going to be teaching you can use it for an e-commerce website, a VTU website, or any kind of website that requires your user to make payments or carry out any activities that you want to log on the transaction log website, so that your user can see their previous transactions they've made, and you can also see the transactions that are being made. You, the admin, can also see the transactions that are being made on your website. So I'm going to be doing it on this e-commerce website I used for my PHP backend course. And let's visit the dashboard, the user dashboard. So I'm going to log in a user now, and the user email, and we enter the password. Wow, okay, the password is not correct, but the email was correct. So let's say 1 2 3 4 5. And the password is still not correct. I have forgotten the password, guys. So I have the dashboard login, guys. This is the user dashboard. Then as you can see, we have the orders displayed here, we have the wallet here, but we don't have the transaction history display, so we cannot view our previous transactions and everything that we've been doing on this website. And so also on the admin section here, this is the admin. The admin can also view the previous transactions that have been made, okay, but the admin can view orders and other stuff. These are the orders that have been made so far. So without wasting much time, guys, I'm going to be teaching you how to develop the transaction history section. So without wasting much time, let's dive in straight. The first thing we're going to be doing now is that we are going to be creating a database for the transaction log. So all the transactions that will be carried out, the payments, the orders, and whatever that relates to payments, we are going to be doing that, logging them to the orders table on the database. So let's go now. This is the database already open. I'm just going to create a new table called let's give it a name of transactions. Okay, transaction. Then we're going to get the transaction ID here. They will make it auto increment. That's the ID of that transaction. Then we'll make it voucher here, voucher. For this, we leave it at none. The length, make it 2. Then the next thing, please, there are some things I will not be explaining. I'll just make it fast, because this is not for beginners. If you are watching this video, then you must have gone through the beginner and intermediate section of my PHP course, so you will not be new to it. Okay, so if you are watching it for the first time, just go to the course area, watch the beginner and intermediate session, and then you understand. So we're going to be targeting the user ID. That's the user that will be making the transaction, the user that is making the transaction. So over here, and that's okay. Then next, you're going to be getting the transaction ref. Let's call this transaction ref. We're going to be making voucher, then 1000 no. Then we're going to get the type. That's the type of transaction. Let's add one more row to it. Then we are going to get the status of the transaction. Then I think let's add amount to it. Okay, let's add amount, or we can save it first. Let's just save. Okay, ID specifier is incomplete, so let's check what's wrong with ID. this ID voucher. Wow. Okay, let's increase this guy to 1000 and see, and let's save. Incorrect column specifier ID. So the problem is coming from here, ID, so that should be okay. Wow. Okay, let's start it again from beginning. Let's just make the table again, call it transactions. Okay, then this is ID. Okay, I think I've gotten the error. I used voucher instead of integer, so it's supposed to be integer, not voucher. Okay, so let's just go over again. Then this can be voucher, then we're going to make it 1000 node. Then this is going to be the transaction ref. We're going to make it voucher 1000 node. This is going to be the amount. I just add amount to it, amount. Then over here we're going to make it voucher no. Then let's add one more, let's add one more row to it. Then over here we're going to call it status. Oh, I didn't get to finish that before saving, so let me edit it from here. So I'm going to click on change here, then this is status voucher. Then I'm going to change this guy to 1000 and no. Okay, so that's all. Our table is set now. The first thing we're going to be doing, we are going to move over to the admin folder. This is the admin folder. Then in the admin folder now we're going to have a new file called transaction.php. Create transaction.php. Then let us copy maybe let me see the admin section. Okay, all right, let's just copy this home page here, the index. So just go to the index, copy everything we have in here, copy it. Then let's close all of these guys, we don't need them. We'll need process.php. Then this is the transact. So let's paste it here, we have it now. Then let's go to index.php, and on the sidebar let's put the transaction link there. So here's my sidebar now. Wow, let me search for it, search for navigation. Okay, so this is it here. So I'm just going to have another link here, call this or let's just call it transaction log. Then the link is going to be transaction.php. okay, then let's reload now. So we have transaction log, we click on it. So this is the transaction page. They are going to be changing this table. We're going to be changing the contents of this table. So what we're going to do, we'll go over to transaction, then we'll scroll up, let's modify the page, call this place let's leave this guy here. Then let's have the transaction link here, or you can leave it. Okay, instead of all products we call it all transactions. Then we're going to start modifying the table. Okay, so here we're going to change it change this to transaction ref, transaction ref, transaction ref, transaction ref. Then the next one, we're going to have type, transaction type. Then we have transaction amount. Then okay, we can have date, then status, then maybe action if we want to. All right, so let's see the way the table looks now. And this is the table transaction. You can see it has been modified. Then we're going to be removing or modifying this content we have here. Please note, I am modifying a template that I already have. Okay, so if you are designing from scratch, you just know how to implement your own designs. All right, so let's go. On this session here, I'm going to be deleting these guys here, so I'm going to have a fresh content in here. So I'm just going to delete these guys. Okay, and included this guy here. So let's just delete everything on the table body. So right now the table body is empty, so I have my TRO here. Now let's check now. So you can see the table body is empty and we have transaction ref here and so on and so forth. So let's just have some demo stuff. So let's have TD times how many? That should be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So TD times 7. Okay, then the first one is serial number, so let's just call it 1. Let's just call it 1 here. Then the next one is ref. The next one is type. Let's call the type deposit. The next one, I think it's amount. Let's call the amount 1000. The next one is date. Let's just say date. We're going to be modifying it. Okay, so just say a demo. Let's say check. And status, let's call this status, and let's call this please check. Okay, so let's see how our transaction table look like. So as you can see, this is how our transaction table looks like for now. So guys, let's go start modifying the table. So let's begin to display the transaction reference and others. Okay, so first of all, we are going to be logging transactions to the table first, because right now the table is currently empty. We don't have anything on the table, so we're going to start logging the transactions to the table first. So without wasting much time, let's start logging our transactions to our transaction table. So this is what we're going to be doing, guys. Those codes or those APIs that processes our transaction, we are going to be adding new statement to it, new SQL statement to move the transaction details to the transaction table. So if you are developing from scratch, you know how you are going to be developing yours. As you are developing, you just do it alongside, but I already have mine developed, so I'll just be implementing this new updates to it. This is just like updating a previous website that has been active before. So I'm going to go over to my user section now, and we are going to try fund our wallet and log the transaction of this funding of this wallet to transaction table. So let's do that now. I'm going to go over to where I have the API code that funds wallet. So I'll go to my process.php, depending on how you are designing yours, so how you have yours developed. Then I'll go to where I have wallet deposit. So let me just go. Okay, this is one of them. I'm depositing with Flutterwave and with Paystack as well. So let's do the one for Paystack first. So you can see this is the one for Paystack. Let me put here deposit with deposit with paystack. Okay, so this is where I am depositing with paystack. Now I'm going to be implementing this new code now on where the transaction is successful. So as you can see, this is where my transaction is successful. You can see the statement here. Let me know I code this. You can see the statement here, deposit made successfully, now redirecting. Okay, so under this place is where I'm going to be logging the transaction to the base, either after this line or before this line, whichever way it's perfect. Okay, so to do that, now we're going to have a new SQL statement here, and we're going to say variable SQL is equal to insert into, now the name of the table is transaction. Let me just copy the name so we don't make mistake. This is the name here, transaction. Insert into transaction. Then what are we going to insert? We are going to be inserting first the user ID, user underscore ID. Secondly, we will be inserting let me check, we'll be inserting the transaction ref. So let me just copy it, transaction ref. Thirdly, we will be inserting the amount. I will be inserting the status. We'll be inserting status. Okay, so the next one, now we're going to say values, then I'll make another bracket. So for the transaction ID, we are going to be getting that from the user that is logging, and I think I already have that, and that is let me show you. This is my transaction. Okay, these are the details. So this is my user ID, this is my transaction ref, this is the amount, and this is the status. Okay, so let's go. This is the transaction user ID rather. So I'm going to pass this user ID to this place here. So user ID has been passed. Then after that, I'll pass the next parameter, which is transaction ref, and this is the transaction ref. Pass transaction ref. Then I'll pass the next parameter of amount, which is variable amount. So that's variable amount. Then the next parameter we'll be passing is the status. So for status, we can just use a string. For status, we can just pass a string and say successful. Okay, successful. Then there's something else we're also going to be passing, and that is the type of the transaction. Oh, we omitted it in our database, so we have to modify this database, the table. So before the status, after amount, we are going to add type to it. So here we're going to say type, and that will be a voucher. Then just do this. Okay, so that has been passed now. So we are going to be passing type before status. So we'll come here, before we have the status, we just pass type. Then we'll go over before status. Now that's after amount, we are going to pass type. Then type will say wallet deposit. Okay, So let's test this SQL statement to ensure that it's correct. Everything, we don't have any error. So let me show you how to debug your SQL statement. Let's just copy the SQL statement, go to your phpMyAdmin, then under here you see cursor, click on the cursor, drag it up so you can see the space, then just paste it here, then control enter to run it. Now you can see the statement runs successfully, so our SQL statement is okay. So we just need to go back to the transaction table and delete that statement. You can see it has been added, so we just delete this guy we did. So that's how to test your SQL code. I just want to chip that in and show you guys. The next thing we're going to be doing now, after the statement is complete, we're going to see variable query will be equal to my SQLi query, then want to query variable connection, which is our database connection, and variable SQL. So that will be all we'll be needing for this process to work. So with this, our transaction will be logged to the transaction table. So let's call this log to transaction table. So let's save now, and let's go over to make a deposit. So let's click on wallet deposit. Let's deposit 10,000 naira, then let's proceed. We're going to be depositing with paystack because it's paystack we just did. So deposit with paystack. Oh, my network is off, so I have to connect it so that paystack can load. All right, it's connected now. Let me reload the page, then click on paystack. It's working now. We are just going to use a test card, success test. Okay, just click on, we've done it. So let's see. So as you can see, payment successful. So you can see our database, our wallet balance has increased. So let's go check our database if the transaction was saved or logged to our transaction table. So I'm going to take down this guy, then click on browse. So as you can see, the transaction was logged successfully. Okay, so that's how it works. Then the next thing, now we are going to do the same thing for the flutter wave payments for wallet deposit. So we just copy this guy, then we scroll down to where we have flutter wave. So if you are doing yours, you just know how to implement it, and after or before or after this success message, just paste it there, and that's all. So now if we make another deposit, now let's fund the wallet again, and let's fund the wallet with 30,000 naira, then we'll proceed. This time we want to fund with flutter wave, so let's fund with flutter wave. Then let's use a test card I already have here. So you can see payment successful. Now deposit successfully made, click to continue. So you can see our balance have increased. Now let's go and check our database again. Let's browse. So you can see it was passed successfully, but we have an issue. The transaction ref was not passed. So let's see why the transaction ref was not passed. So let's go check. Transaction ref was not passed. This transaction ref, and the transaction ref for the flutter wave is different. That's the reason it was not passed. So let's get the transaction ref for, okay, this is the transaction ref. Yeah, let me check to confirm if we are in flutter wave or in paystack. Okay, we are in flutter wave, so let's see. That's the transaction ref for flutter wave. So why wasn't it passed to this section here? Okay, so let's see the reason why it was not passed. Okay, since we can't access the transaction ref there, we can also use this guy here. This is also the same transaction ref. We can use this one to access it. So let's just use this one to access it. So let's pass that other one to this place. All right, so let's give a shot again and see. So we'll just go back and reload the payment. So let's make the payment again. Let's use the same test card. I've already saved it, so just click on it to use. All right, payment successful. So let's check now if we will have a transaction ref. So as you can see, the transaction ref has been passed. Okay, this is the transaction ref. It has been passed. All right, so the next thing we're going to be doing, this transaction ref seems different. The next thing we're going to be doing now is we are going to be displaying these transactions here to both the admin first, display it here, and also to the user. So without further ado, let's dive in straight. We'll go to the transaction page of the admin. Then we are going to say over here now, we're going to make a PHP statement here. Then we are going to say variable SQL is equal to select from transaction, select from transactions. Okay, then you can see order by ID desk or ID ascend, but we can do without that. So let's just do, then the next thing we say variable query is equal to MySQLi underscore query, and then we are going to query variable connection and query variable SQL. All right, so the next one we're going to say, we're going to be using a while loop. We're going to say while is this correct now? Let's just get it first. Okay, so we're going to say variable what now? Variable results is equal to MySQLi fetch associate of variable query, then this is what we are going to be using the while loop for. So just bracket it like this, then we're going to say while. We're using a while loop. We want to while this guy here. Okay, so over here we are going to close our PHP statement so we can bring in the HTML code for it. Close the PHP statement, then we open it here. We open the PHP statement here, then we'll copy this T arrow we have here, just cut it, paste it in between this closing and opening of the PHP. You get it now? So that's how to do it. If you followed the course from beginning, you should understand this here. Okay, so for the ref, we are going to say PHP, then we say echo variable results, then we are going to target the ref. So let's see, we're going to target this transaction ref. This is it, transaction ref. We'll paste it here so we can just duplicate these guys down, or let's just delete this guy, then let's duplicate this guy down. After transaction ref, the next thing we are targeting the type, so we'll call this place type. We are assessing the amount, call this place amount. Then this one is the date. We don't have the dates in our database now, so we just go to our database, then go to structure. So before the status, let's have a new row there. Then we're going to call this row timestamp, and here we're going to be collect voucher. Then we are going to leave it at 100. Then the default should be current timestamp, and we save. So the timestamp will be added now. So this timestamp is what we will be using to collect the date. So this is going to be called date. Then after date, the next one is status. So you can just duplicate this guy down one more time and call it status. And after status, the next one is the action. So the action, let's just leave it blank for now. We'll come back and work on it. So let's see if everything we did here went through successfully. So let's reload our page. So as you can see, we have our transactions displayed. You can see the type is wallet deposit, the amount, the date is displayed, the status is displayed. So for this status now, let's do something creative. Let's say status, oh, you can just leave it like that, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so everything is working now. The next thing we're going to be doing now is that we're going to be doing the same thing for the user, so the user can see their own transactions. Meanwhile, there is one more thing we need to do here. There's one more thing we need to do here. Let's display the user that actually does these transactions. Okay, so what we're going to do after the transaction ref before the type, let's just have maybe user here. Okay, user. Then over here before the type, let's just display duplicate this. Then we'll call this guy user underscore id. This is the reason we have user id on our session. So let's reload now. So you see we have our user id display here, but we don't need this user id to be displayed. What we need is for the username to be displayed. So what we're going to do, we're going to say we're not going to echo it now, we'll just bring it down, then bring it down. Okay, so we're going to do it this way. This is going to be user underscore id is equal to this. That's variable user underscore id is equal to this guy. Then we're going to make an SQL statement again, new SQL statement. We're going to say variable SQL user is equal to select from user where id is equal to variable user underscore id. All right, it's equal to variable user underscore id. Then the next thing we have query underscore user. You have to change it so it doesn't conflict with the previous SQL statement we had before. We're going to call this my SQL variable query, then we call it this guy, and so we want to query variable connection and variable SQL user. Okay, SQL user. Then the next one we're going to say variable results for user is equal to MySQLi fetch associate of variable query user. Okay, variable query user. Then we are now going to say echo variable results user name. So this is going to display the name of the user. So let's see. Wow, so the name is not displayed. Let's check the reason why the name is not displayed, where ID is equal to user ID. Okay, let's echo the user ID one more time. Okay, the user ID is 7, is still displayed. So let's call this guy here. Let's say where the ID is equal to 7, and let's see. Let's not echo this guy now. We are trying to debug that line of code, so it's still not coming up. So let's see. Let's go to the user table. This is user, and we have ID is equal to 7 here. Okay, this should work. Select from user. All right, let's see if there's anything wrong. Okay, yeah, I was supposed to have a star here, star. Okay, so that's the error. So let's take this thing back to variable user ID. Okay, so this should resolve the whole thing. So let's see, this is it. So as you can see, Destiny Emmanuel, and everything displays perfectly well. Okay, so we're going to be copying these codes and placing it for the user, because right now it's only the admin that can see the transaction. The user cannot view transaction now. So we're just going to copy all of these codes, copy, then we go to the user section. This is the user section. Then we just create a new page here and call it transactions. No, I think I'm in the wrong place. Let's close this admin, then click here. Okay, transactions, transaction.php. So this is going to be the transaction for the user. Okay, so we'll paste it here, then we'll save. We'll go to the dashboard and add the link. So the dashboard, we're going to search for navigation. This navigation, this is order, this is okay, order. Then after order, we're going to be having a new link here. So bring this down, then call these transactions, transaction log. Okay, so we're going to call this transaction.php. all right, so let's go to the user dashboard now. This is the user dashboard. Let's reload this guy. We don't have. Okay, let's go to the user dashboard. Wow, something is wrong. Our user dashboard is not correct. Let's use this link. Okay, these are user dashboards, and we don't have transaction displayed here. Let's see why it's not displayed. Okay, I'm in the wrong place. Let me delete this guy. So these are user dashboards. Let's duplicate this guy, call this transaction.php. then we'll call this all transactions. So let's go. So as you can see, we have it here. Let's break it down just using BRO code. Sorry, BRO. So that breaks our code down. Okay, so you can see we have it here. Or better still, we can use maybe a UL tag, but we are not interested in front end for now. So click on all transactions, and it's telling us some stuff are not found. Okay, so a better way to do it, let's copy everything we have in this dashboard page. We go to transactions for the user, copy everything, delete, paste the what we have for the dashboard here, paste it here. Then let's go over again. So as you can see, it's working now. So we're going to modify just this section of the table. So we're just going to delete that table. So we go to transaction table for the admin, then we just scroll down to where we have the table. So from here, all table, we're going to copy down to the end of this container, and this is it. Then we'll go over to transaction for user. Then we are going to be deleting from here. Let me show you. Okay, we're going to delete from this point here down to here now. Wow. Okay, let's delete it one after the other, please. Table. Okay, down to the end of the table. This is the end of the table. Table body. Okay, yeah, down to this place. We'll delete. Then after deleting, we'll paste that one we copied here. Then let's see. So as you can see, we have our table here. Meanwhile, something is wrong here, so we just have to edit it. We'll just add, let's just add a div here, div. Then that should resolve. Wow, so it's still not resolved now. So let's retake this off. So it's resolved now. Our set is back. So all transactions, and this is all the transactions we have. Now this is what we're going to be doing with this method. Now it's going to display the transaction of everybody that is currently on the site. However, we only want the user to view their own transactions alone and not viewing other people's transactions. So what we are going to be doing now, we are going to be adding a conditional statement to our SQL code here. We are going to be adding a conditional statement using the ID of the user that is logging. So this is the ID of the user that is logging, user ID. Okay, then we are going to go to where we have the code, select from transaction. Then we are going to add where user underscore ID is equal to this guy here. Okay, so with this method that is going to display to the user only his transaction. It's not going to display another person's transaction. Now there will be no need for displaying the username, so we'll just remove this name here. There will be no need for that. The user already knows his name, so we don't need to tell him your name is this. So just remove this guy. It's only admin that need this, so the admin can know who exactly made that transaction. So let's see, and as you can see, we have our transactions displayed. This is the transaction ref, transaction type, amount, date, successful, and you can add any button here, maybe verify or whatever. Just add it to the status if you want to. So the next thing we're going to do now, we are going to be adding this system to all other functions we have on the website. For instance, when a user make a purchase, it should log on the transaction table, so the user can see their transactions. For instance, I want to order this product now. Then let me order just one of it, add to cart. Then let me go to my cart now. If I should check out this product, it's not going to display on my transaction section, okay, because it has not been initiated there. So we're just going to go over to our process section, and this is the page that contains all our APIs. Then we're just going to copy this log to transaction table code we wrote earlier, you remember. Then we'll go to where we have those functions. For instance, let's go to where we have done it for deposits to wallet, so that is working. Let's go and do it for payment. So let's say pay. Let's look for pay stack first. Pay with pay stack. Okay, so this is the first one, paying with pay stack. Let's go and place it in pay with pay stack. So when the payment is successful, this is it. So before this statement here, we're going to place it here, log transaction. Okay, so the transaction ID is the user. So let's see if the transaction ID is the same thing as what we get here, so we don't pass in a wrong transaction ID. And this is it, transaction ref this time. So this is transaction ref. So that's what we're going to be passing, and not transaction ID. Okay, so this transaction ref, paste it here as transaction ref. Then the type now is going to be order. So the type, this is the type, is no longer deposit to wallet, it's going to be payment, or okay, let's just call it payment. Okay, so that should be okay. Now let's reload this page and let's pay with paystack and see. Let's pay with paystack and see if it will be logged to our transaction table. So payment successful, supposed to be redirected, but it's not redirecting. So let's just click on our dashboard. So this is it. Then let's go to all transactions and let's see if it was logged. Wow, it seems it wasn't logged. It seems it wasn't logged. So let's check the reason why it wasn't logged. Or are we in paystack? Let's be sure we are in paystack. Okay, this is paystack. Okay, insert into transaction. So why did it not log the transaction? Let's see. All right, amount is set. Wow, okay, this should work. Let's give it a try again. Let's just give it a try again. Cut. Okay, let's try it somewhere else first. Let's try it on this pay with wallet. Let's go try it on pay with wallet. So we're just going to copy it now. Then let's look for pay with wallet. Or let's go to wallet. This is create wallet. Okay, this is pay with wallet, I think. No, it's not pay with wallet. Should be down here. Yeah. All right, this is pay with wallet. Yes. Okay, buy with wallet. So let's put it here and see if it's gonna work here. So this is it, buy with wallet. We'll just paste it here. Okay, so let's paste it before the success statement. Then everything should remain the same. The only thing that should be changing is just the transaction ref. Okay, there's no need of changing the transaction ref. Transaction ref is set and it's okay. So let's save this guy and let's give a trial. So let's pay with, that has been paid. Okay, so you can see it here, it has been paid 20,000, 10,000 naira rather, and this is the date and time. So let's go to all transactions now and see. Wow, so it works very fine here. You can see it works here. This is it. But there's something the system is doing. It's not displaying them in descending order. So let's make it display in descending order. We're just going to go over to where we have the transaction. Then we're going to say, so to make it display in descending order, we're going to say order by ID desk, select from transactions, order by ID desk, ID descending order, desk. Okay, so with this now our transaction should display in descending order now. So let's go, let's reload. Wow, so we've just made an error. Let's check what the problem is. Order by ID desk, let's see. Okay, it seems this order by ID desk has to come after. I've forgotten, guys. Let's see. Okay, yeah, That's correct. It has to come after the condition. So as you can see, the recent transaction we made, this is the payment of 10,000 naira, and it came first. Okay, so since the one for wallet is working, let's go check for flutter wave first, then we'll come back to check for pay stack, the reason why pay stack did not work. So let's look for pay with flutter wave. Oh, that's not. Let's look for flutter wave. Wow. Okay, flutter wave is after pay stack. So let's say pay. Let's search pay with pay stack, and this is it. This pay stack. So the next one should be flutter wave. Oh, okay. I think it's before pay stack. Yeah. So this is pay with flutter wave. So we'll just call it pay with flutter wave. Okay, pay with flutter wave. So now let's paste the code here, or this time around let's paste it before this query here. Okay, let's change the sequence. Let's change the sequence. Let's paste it here. Now this method is going to give us an issue. Yeah, it's going to give us an issue. Let's just give it a try. It shouldn't give us much issue. So let's go over now to make some more orders, because our cart has been cleared. So we're going to buy this guy, just buy 2 of it, so that will be cost us 20,000 naira. Okay, let's go to cart, let's check out, and let's check out with flutter wave this time. And let's scroll down. Okay, payment successful. Now let's go to our transaction history. Wow. Now the issue here is that the payment is not being verified successfully. That's why it is not adding up. The payment verification process is not working properly. That's the problem here. The payment is not going through. So to do that, now we have to check this code and know where the error is coming from and why the payment is not being verified. So after checking that, these other guys will work. So let's check. We are done with the main thing we are looking for, but let's just debug this code a bit. So to do this now, we have to go to our checkout page, then go to pay stack or flutter wave. Let's just debug one of them. Let's debug flutter wave. Then with that, believe you understand everything. So this is flutter wave. Let's know why flutter wave is not coming up. So first we're going to remove this guy here. Let's comment it out. Let's comment these guys out. Then let us log the response and see. Let's say log, console log response. Let's log the response and see what the problem is. So let's, as you can see, the cart is still active, so the payment was not verified. So let's make payment now, and let's open our console, the browser console, so we can see what's going on. And let's go. So let's see what's coming up. Wow, it's redirected, and we don't want it to redirect for now. We don't want the redirecting for now. So let's cancel that redirecting. Okay, this is it. This is where it's redirected. So let's cancel it, and let's pay again. Reload. Then we'll pay with flutter wave. So there is no response logged. Okay, this is the response status, successful, and that's the only thing coming up. This is the response. So we are having issues saving the payment to our database, yeah, or verifying the payment. Okay, to do this now, you have to debug your code. I believe that you will not be having issues like this. All right, you will not be having issues like this, but in case, just debug your code and everything goes well. And once your code is working, once the payment is going through successfully, the transactions are going to be logged, and once they are logged, you are going to see them on your dashboard area. Yeah, you're going to see them on your dashboard area. So the main purpose of this video has been actualized. Click on all transactions. You are going to see all your transactions displayed over here. Okay, so with this now, you can use this method to develop transaction history for any kind of website, maybe an e-commerce website, a VTU website, or any kind of website that requires user to make payments and you want them to keep track of their transactions. You can use this method to do that. So guys, see you in another session where I'm going to be teaching you something else as it relates to web design. If you have any issue with this video, just drop a comment, share this video guys, share it, just click on the share button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll be bringing you more and more of this. So have a nice time.